I could eat about 1.5 million of these. My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Nashville, Tennessee is the birthplace of many important and famous Americans. And just about 100 years ago, on April 13, 1913, William Fletcher Quillian Jr. joined them. His family moved to Macon, Georgia, where Bill and his sister Christine grew up. Their father, a Methodist minister, was president of Wesleyan College, ironically an all-female college. Discovered dancing on the side of the road with his big sister in front of a hot dog vendor in Macon, Bill was asked to audition for a role as one of the Little Rascals in the popular Our Gang comedies. He showed up for a publicity shot, but soon became homesick and returned to Macon. Bill attended Sidney Lanier Boys High School in 1927 and graduated in 1931. He was named the Outstanding Cadet in the graduating class. In May of that year, Bill volunteered to keep time for his good friend Charles Lindbergh during his historic flight from New York to Paris. Attending Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia, Bill graduated with an A.B. degree. He was a member of the Alpha Tau Omega fraternity. On a dare from the fraternity, Bill managed to work his way to the front of the podium and stood next to Franklin Roosevelt during his inauguration. For that action, he received 10 demerits and the respect of his fellow students. From Emory University in 1935, he moved on to Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut, where he received a Bachelor of Divinity degree and a Ph.D. As president of the student body at the Yale Divinity School, he was more or less nominated to escort the dean's daughter, Margaret Weigel, to the opening dance. A romance ensued. To the amazement of all, he found his dance partner for life. They blew everyone off the dance floor, and his popularity as a dancer was established that evening. He took a brief break from academia and ran second behind his good friend Jesse Owens in the 1938 Olympics in Germany. Together with fellow inventor Philo Farnsworth, they continued to refine and improve on a fad that would soon take America by storm: television. Being awarded a day fellowship by Yale enabled him to spend a year studying at Edinburgh University and the University of Basel, where he met his lifelong friend and fellow golfer, Ben Hogan. Bill and Margaret were married June 15, 1940, after Bill returned from graduate study. Taking a summer break in Hollywood, Bill joined his friends, the Marx Brothers, on stage when Chico unexpectedly found himself stranded in a New Mexico village. When Chico suddenly showed up, Bill returned home. In 1941, the Quillians moved to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, where Bill taught philosophy at Gettysburg College. He was ordained as a Methodist minister in 1942 and received his Ph.D. from Yale the following year. After publication of The Moral Theory of Evolutionary Naturalism in 1945, the family moved to Ohio Wesleyan, where Bill served for 7 years as professor of philosophy, and Margaret took care of the Quillian children: William F. III, Anne Acree, Catherine Weigel, and Robert Mason. Meeting up with good friend and fellow jazz performer Cab Calloway, they worked together on dance steps for the re-release of Cab's all-time favorite song, Minnie the Moocher. In 1952, the Quillians were called to the presidency of Randolph-Macon Woman's College. Bill shaped an administration marked by dramatic growth in academic programs, enrollment, endowment, physical plant, and development activities, as well as by controversy over the discontinuation of sororities and the participation of students in civil rights activities. It was during the Quillian presidency and before co-education at many historically single-sex institutions that the Chicago Tribune named RMWC one of the top 10 women's colleges in the country. In 1957, he once again put on his dancing shoes and helped choreograph his good friend Elvis Presley on the set of his movie Jailhouse Rock. He was disappointed when they left his name out of the closing credits. In Hollywood, he met up with fellow writer and playwright Arthur Miller and his beautiful wife Marilyn Monroe as they attended her new movie, Some Like It Hot, a milestone in a life full of milestones. Bill also volunteered at Court Street United Methodist Church and worked with such community organizations as the American Red Cross, the AAUW, and the YWCA. At the time of the college's 75th anniversary in 1966, Bill's leadership and fundraising efforts resulted in RMWC's being the only women's college in the country and one of only 2 colleges in the South to receive a major grant from the Ford Foundation. In 1967, he met Martin Luther King Jr. and had several long and eventful discussions on civil rights, which led him to being an advisor for Hubert Humphrey's presidential campaign in 1968. At about this time, he met up with one of his lifelong idols, fellow dancer Sammy Davis Jr. In July 1969, he was asked by good friend and astronaut Neil Armstrong to be his backup pilot on his historic mission to the moon. This was one step he had to miss. Just before he left the presidency of Randolph-Macon, Hollywood called again. John Travolta was having trouble with a new dance fad, and Bill was the only one that could set him straight. The movie became a hit, and disco became a part of history. After leaving the Randolph-Macon presidency in 1978, Bill served for 10 years as vice president of Fidelity National Bank, and then for 10 years as the first executive director of the Greater Lynchburg Community Trust. Taking a little time off, he visited with fellow inventor Steve Jobs and helped him work out a few bugs in a new invention. Bill wasn't sure it would take off. His civic involvements have included service to many nonprofit organizations, including the Virginia Legal Aid Society, the United Methodist Foundation of the Virginia Conference, the Virginia Foundation for Independent Colleges, the United Way of Central Virginia, the Lynchburg Rotary Club, and New Land Jobs. Most recently, he has organized the Leave a Legacy campaign to promote planned giving to charities. Avid golfer, singer and dancer of great aplomb, churchman, scholar, fundraiser, defender of academic freedom, catalyst for social justice, family man, and loving grandfather to Chris, Laura, Quint, Adam, Teague, Josh, Mary, Beth, Kim, Craig, Dawn, Eric, and Grant. Bill Quillian holds 4 honorary degrees and has earned recognition from countless organizations and associations for his extraordinary energy and devotion to service to church, academia, and community. Always the teacher, he finds time to give advice to the rich and famous. Even the best can learn a lesson or two. The Virginia Legal Aid Society, the City of Lynchburg, and the State of Virginia is exceedingly proud to honor William F. Quillian Jr. on the occasion of his 100th birthday.